Hey, this is Michaela, and you're listening to Dan Lupinski on the Dan Lupinski radio program.
Thank you, Michaela. Welcome, everybody. Happy Saturday. I'm grateful you could join me, and hope you're having a great Saturday. And it's a little warmer outside here today, almost near 50. So it's a pleasant change from what we've been having. So my guest today is Robin Cote, author, honor personality, producer, and writer. Robin, say hello to everybody.
Hi, everyone. And I don't like correcting people, but it's actually Cote, or you can say the American version, Cody. So
Cote,
anybody
Cody.
who's a hockey fan will know it's Cote, so they would check me up against the boards. Hey, what's up with that?
Okay. So Robin,
You guys have the Blackhawks out there, so.
yeah. So talk about yourself. Where are you originally from?
I was born in Florida, actually, Miami Beach, Florida, but my dad moved us all the way across the country when I was the mere age of 3 years old to Arizona. So as they say here in the desert, as long as you got cactus spines in your rear end, you're definitely a native. So I guess I'm pretty much a native, being here for 45 years.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. So uh, so you've been in radio 26 years. Is that right?
Yeah, I actually had a long-driven radio career here in the Valley for 26 years, and officially, I hate to use the word retired,
Okay.
but I did leave radio back in 2006 to start my own company with my now ex-husband. And honestly, it was the worst mistake I ever made. Because, as you know, we are so addicted to being behind the microphone, and I miss it greatly.
Right. Right. Where did you start your radio career?
The craziest thing about that, I actually grew up here, like I said, in Arizona, and I went to my elementary and my junior high school were right next to each other here in Mesa.
Okay.
And I snuck my way across the street one morning to a radio station by the, I don't know if it's named this anymore. I'm sure it's probably changed. It used to be called KZZP. It was 104.7 FM.
Okay.
Pretty big station here in the Valley. Actually, one of the jocks in your neck of the woods, Jonathan Brandmeier.
Right.
He actually gave me my start in radio. I was just a little nosy kid who made my way over to the station one morning and heard all this ruckus going on in the parking lot. Bunch of people standing around, and here's this big lanky guy up on some monitor with a pair of underwear on his head and a microphone in his
Really?
hand, and dancing around and getting everybody all crazy early in the morning.
Yeah.
And I look up at this guy and make my way through the crowd like it's a mosh pit. I get up there, being little, you can do that. And I looked at this guy, he was just larger than life to me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is so cool. So, sticks a microphone in my face, asks me a stupid question. I answer the question, and the rest is history. I go in there once a week to just say a couple of minutes worth of stupid stuff that kids talk about in school, be part of that morning show every now and then again, and I was bit by the bug.
I hear that. I hear that. So what so you did a lot of radio there in the valley too, right?
Yeah, most of my career has been here in Arizona. In my book, it details the fact that I did become a young mother at the age of 17 when I had my son. So, unfortunately, that changed my direction in life quite a bit because, as we all know in radio, you've got to sometimes put your life in a box and travel around the country before you can get anywhere and name your status and
That's
come
true.
back and actually get the jobs you want.
That's
So I had to do it backwards. I had the kids first, got married, and then decided to put roots down here in the valley so that my son would grow up around my family.
right.
And then became a single mom after the ordeal that I went through with my first husband. And it's a struggle. It's a real struggle when you stay in the same town all your life. You don't always get the lucky breaks, but I'm very thankful for the career that I've had, and it's amazing the people that you meet in the business and outside of the business and how you can touch people. And that to me is more special than being the $1,000,000 morning guy. I would rather just be the person that can reach out to the listener. And then, most of the stations, the listeners can be crazy, they can be fun. But a lot of times that's what reaches me, is just knowing that I can meet up with those people. So yeah, I spent most of my radio career here, and not really making the big bucks, but in a way, there's other things that along the way that you can appreciate.
Okay, and then you did 15 years in television.
Yeah, a lot of craziness involved in that too. I actually worked for PBS here for 7 years, so that was the quote unquote paid television job that I had.
Okay.
I tried my hand at being a reporter for a very short time, but it didn't pan out for me because I wasn't cut out to put a microphone in front of a mom's face who just lost her child due to a drive-by shooting.
Well, yeah.
An accidental drive-by shooting. I just couldn't do it. Being a mom, I could not stick the microphone there and say, "How do you feel?" Because that to me is just invasive. You've got to deal with the fact that your little kid was killed by accident.
Yeah.
And being a mom, that just made me so gut wrenched. I could not do that job, so I walked away from that. And my other part of the TV business was I worked for several different television shows here that promoted the music scene, the entertainer scene. One was Backstage Pass. I also did World of Kids and Talent Showcase, and both the gentlemen involved in those, Dan Smith and Joel Samuels, actually gave me the opportunity to be promotions director, to get involved and just go out there and look at people. I ran the audio and did stuff like that for the other two TV shows. So those were non-paid jobs, but in a sense, you get more out of those sometimes because you gain the experience and you get to meet more people. And it's all in this business. You know how it is. It's all about networking. And I didn't even realize I was doing that in my 20s. I was just putting myself out there and doing whatever it took to have a good time and to help other people. And it just kind of builds up your massive network of people that you bring along with you throughout life.
I agree with that. Yeah, that definitely works. So then you did 10 years of writing for a music publication too, right?
Actually, I wrote for a music publication here for a number of years back in the 90s. It started out as Rock Today, and then we had to change the name to Music Voice because of the advertisers thought it was just a rock and roll magazine, and it covered pretty much every gamut of music, all the way across the board. So I spent about 7 years working with them. I was the right hand to the editor and the owner of the publication, did live reviews, interviews, both national, international, local musicians, so everything from Aerosmith to St. Magnus, which is a local band. My buddy Pat is the singer for that band. So, I mean, it just ran the gamut of everything. And that was another one of those jobs that you didn't get paid for, but it was a serious labor of love because it was just being involved in something greater than yourself and being part of a team. And the music community here was phenomenal back then. So, and, it's kind of went off the map lately, but back in the 90s, it was just phenomenal, all the kind of craziness that was going on here, and it was just awesome to be right in the middle of it.
That's true. You did some film work too?
Yeah, I've kind of dabbled in and out of film my entire life. My first experience with getting into film happened when I was a child. Growing up here in Mesa, I used to ride my bicycle everywhere because it was just something you did when you were a kid. We didn't have the whole video game spectrum. Back then it was Atari 2600 and Pong.
Yeah.
So you can only do so much of that. Nowadays it's like all this other stuff. You never ride your bike. But back then I rode my bicycle past a car lot in downtown Mesa, and some guy comes out and talks to me and he says, "Hey, you want to be in a movie?" Well, that's kind of creepy at first.
Yeah.
But he gives me this paperwork, and he said, it's Jack Warden and Kurt Russell. Tell your parents about it. If you want to be in the movie, have them bring you up here, and we'll put you in the movie.
Yeah.
The movie turned out to be Used Cars.
Really?
So, yeah. So, I mean, it was just a phenomenal little thing that happened riding my bicycle by, and they needed me to be a bratty child on the set for a few hours during a couple of scenes, and the rest was history. I was bit once again by the entertainment bug at a young age, and all throughout my teenage years, I did quite a few of the movies here in the 90s. Into my 20s, I did more films. There were quite a bit of films that were done out here. Back then, it used to be big films. Just One of the Guys, Raising Arizona, The Race, Tank Girl. I mean, the list goes on and on. The last one I worked on was Jerry Maguire, and that was in the 90s. And then I had a mix-up with a manager that I had hired, and my manager kind of screwed things over for me with the casting directors here. So I took a little break from it and got out of the film business for a while. And then back in 2007, I got bored staying at home running a business with my now ex-husband.
Okay.
So I decided, well, let's go play the field and see what's going on in the film world. Totally different. Hardly any big major motion pictures were done here. It was mostly student films, independent films, some TV shows. I mean, now I'm kind of, I like being more behind the scenes. I do have a production company where I've done a few things, but I have my hands in so many different facets of the entertainment industry that sometimes film tends to be very overwhelming with the lack of professionalism that we have in our town here. So instead of being in it full time, I take a break from it every now and then. And there are some really talented people here, both behind the scenes and in front of the camera. But there's a lot of inconsistency here that creates so much havoc that we have dropped off the map as being a filming capital. And that's really the sad part. I would like to see that kind of change. I know everyone here blames the tax incentives, but I've been in the industry for over 35 years, and I can honestly tell you that's just a small little portion of it. It's the drama that goes on behind the scenes and not so much in front of the camera that kind of chases everyone out of here. So
I can imagine.
I kind of dabble in it, and it's still fun to do things in it, but I don't take it too seriously anymore.
Right. So talk about this book you're writing. What's the name of it?
My Life, Victim No More, The Ugly Truth Exposed is the name of my book. And honestly, this was the book that I had not intended to write.
Okay.
I have like 4 or 5 other books that are in process of being written, but last year this book was the one that chose to be written. And the only way I can explain that is that a situation surfaced over 30 years later in my life, which is last year, where my first ex-husband decided to try to go after my children to say things to them that weren't true about what happened years ago. And my first relationship, my first major relationship when I was very young, I did not realize that I had married a sociopath. Really? And he was very emotionally abusive, verbally abusive towards me, physically abusive 3 times. I was hit 3 times by him in all the years together, and of course that's 3 too many. But it was more the emotional and verbal abuse that created the mass hysteria in my life. Right. And I lost my daughter because of him. He decided he didn't want girl children, and we didn't know this for several years, but he took her and put her up for adoption behind my back. Wow. And, I did find her 10 years ago. And last year it came out that, her and her biological father had started talking, and he was basically filling her full of nonsense about a lot of things. And I started a blog on Facebook to kind of explain a little bit more, and it blew up in my face. Right. More than I ever could have imagined, because people were contacting me, telling me, you need to continue writing your story. We want to know more. Don't stop. Keep writing. And I ended up taking it to a private page on Facebook because there were a couple filmmakers here who were trying to, quote unquote, steal it to make a film out of it because they couldn't come up with anything original. And, it revealed itself who they were, even though they were rumors at first, but they basically publicly said, well, anything you put on Facebook is public. I can take it and do what I want with it. Well, no, you can't. It's my life. Right. So I took it to a personal blog on Facebook and just started hammering the details out. You know, when you go through situations like this, your mind retains so much of it that you're like watching your own film play back in your head.
Right.
It's a tape recorder that has recorded everything I've been through, and it just started spilling out onto the page. So the more and more I wrote, the more and more people were pestering me daily to get more out there, because they want more, they want to see the story, they want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
How did this happen? Why did you do this? So it just developed into a book. And the craziest thing about this, Dan, I laugh. My ex-husband, my son just turned 30 this last year. My ex-husband still owes me back child support. So that money has been going in the bank.
Yeah.
And that's what paid for me to publish this book, was my child support money that was owed to me all these years.
Wow.
And that's the final irony of it all, is the fact that this book is written about the damage he caused. And in this book as well, it's not just about domestic violence and verbal abuse, but I also talk about all the things I experienced. And this is only probably 50% of my life that I put into this. I've had a lot of other experiences that I didn't even put down on paper. But it covers bullying, it covers rape, it covers death, it covers the abuse. I mean, it covers all different aspects of things that I've experienced. And this book reaches out to more than just one group of people, because we've all been through this in one form or another. And to be able to put this down in words and have it help other people, that is the greatest gift that I feel I have, is that, you know, something gave me the ability to pick myself up and dust myself off and be able to put this down in words to help other people. And that's what drove me to do this. It started out as clearing the record for my daughter so she would understand things.
Right.
But it took on a whole different meaning, and I didn't even realize what I was doing at the time. And when it was done, I looked at it and I'm like, oh my God, what happened here? What is this? And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that it just takes on a life of its own. And now here we are. It's tangible. You know, and this is the greatest gift I've received in return is people pushing me to do this. And 3 people in general were really there for me throughout most of this. Trey Goodman has become, you know, one of the best friends I could ever ask for.
Okay.
The original boss crusher. He has really supported me through this, guided me to the places I needed to go to get it into book form.
It's good to have support, you know.
Huh?
It's good to have support like that.
Absolutely. And, you know, another dear friend of mine, Hunter Storm, she's also a published author. And so is Trey, they're both published authors. She was helping me a lot with this too. And I've known her over 25 years, and she just kept motivating me and pushing me to do it. Same thing with the gentleman that wrote my foreword, Troy Barnes. Okay. He's a horror author from Australia. He's written several novels. And, you know, just him telling me, and this is the thing that blew my mind, he told me it had the X factor. I've never had anybody ever in my corner tell me that I was capable of doing something like this. You know, I'm still humbled by a lot of stuff in my life. I don't know how I could put something like this together. I just know that I've lived it, I feel it, and that's how I deal with it. I put it out there. And, you know, the biggest thing for me is I really despise people who play the victim mentality their entire life.
Right.
I've had a lot of stuff happen to me, but you know what? There's other people out there that are worse off than me. And I met a young man yesterday. His name is Charlie.
Okay.
He was sitting there talking to us at a party. Sweetest guy you could ever imagine. The life of the party. He turns around. He's got no arms, no legs. and he's just a body with a head. And I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
look at this man. What a beautiful man.
Yeah.
And he's been through worse than I have.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And that's the one thing that inspires me to keep going, is the fact that no matter what I've been through, there's people out there that have been through a lot worse, and look how awesome they are. Look what they do with their life. So anytime I meet somebody who sits there and wallows in this victim mentality, I'm like, no, 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 you're not going to do that. We're gonna do something to get you out of that. Because if I can't give you a verbal butt kicking, then you're wasting your life. Life is way too precious,
Right.
and we have way too much to accomplish.
I mean, this was a relationship that was probably very controlling, and it was probably at a point where you couldn't even think of a way out. I mean, you were just caught in this thing, and I mean, you're not the only one I know that's been through something like this. But to get beyond this, I mean, that says a lot.
Exactly. And my saving grace in a lot of this was the fact that I had my son.
Right.
And my son was the light of my life. If it weren't for my son, I would not have survived a lot of what I went through, because everybody always says the same thing. How did you do it?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I didn't think about it. I didn't have time to think about it. I had no child support. I did it on my own. I worked 5 or 6 jobs. I did jobs that didn't pay, because I've always believed you have to follow your dreams. So the whole time I'm killing myself working, trying to make ends meet, trying to live without being on welfare, trying to do everything on my own without any help, without any support.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's difficult. It's
Yeah.
very difficult. But, I'm a woman. I had a child. I was doing this on my own. I don't like it when I hear young people today complain about it. And it's like, dude, you're living at home with your parents. You have nobody in your family as far as supporting a wife or a husband, or you have no children. Shut up, get up, and do something with your life. Make a difference.
Yeah. I agree with that. You see too much of that today.
This world is just so sad sometimes when you look at it overall, because I see we're raising a generation of pansies. And you know what? That just doesn't cut it for me.
No.
When I raised my son on my own, you hear people say every child should come from a 2-parent household. Well, let me tell you something. There's a lot of 2-parent households that are very destructive. If you're not happy with your partner, get out, be friends, and raise your children the right way. Don't teach them that it's okay to live in a miserable situation every day.
Yeah.
We have to consistently look at breaking the cycles, because now we're turning out kids that just cannot handle anything. And they're so whacked out on drugs.
Yeah.
These young kids pick up a gun and they go kill a bunch of people. And it ain't about the gun, buddy. It's not the gun control issues. That's baloney. It's about the mental issues. It's about the health of these people in this world. It's what we're raising. You know, because my son, when he was growing up, I had no problem playing mom or dad. I was more dad than I was mom, obviously, because I had a son. And that was just the whole thing. I had to make sure that I had somebody once told me, you're not raising a kid, you're raising an adult.
Yeah.
And that's something you have to focus on. You can't look at it as you're raising a child. You have to focus on the fact that, hey, this kid is going to be an adult someday, and I'm responsible for my part in that.
Right.
So that's my internal driver. No matter how much adversity I have faced in my life, and my first marriage was not the only part of it. The book encompasses quite a bit of my life. I faced a lot of death at a very young age, and when you're faced with that much death, you realize, wow, we are not here forever. We could walk out that door the next day and be dead.
That's true.
So why not make a difference while you can now, instead of sitting around and sulking and things?
That's true. I mean, it doesn't help to sit in your own stuff and just wallow in this pout and cry. I mean, that don't help, you know.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's good to cry and get things out of your
Oh yeah,
system. That's a whole different perspective. But to sit there every single day and tell yourself, well, this sucks, life sucks. You know what? Life does suck, but guess what? Cut open the lemons and make lemonade. Quit being a sourpuss. It ain't as bad as you think it is because the next day you can change it.
that's true.
Yeah, I've been kicked in the ass many times throughout my life. You think I let it stop me? No, I
You
can't.
you can't change.
What's our purpose in, what's the purpose in doing that? You can't. You've got to live life. That's what we're getting it for.
Right. Yeah, you can't change people, places, or situations, but you could change yourself and your attitude and the way you're dealing with it. You know.
Yeah, you can't change someone else. All you can do is change yourself and change your own outcome. And it just bothers me when, all my life, I've always heard this, and working in the entertainment industry, anybody listening to this will get it. Get a real job. Well, guess what? There's another saying.
Yeah.
Find something you love doing, and then eventually it will pay you back. And that's what it's doing for me. I've never been rich. I've been more infamous than famous. I don't want to be famous. If something happens to me in that respect,
Yeah.
I'll use it for what it's meant to be. And it's a platform to help other people. You have to give back. Whatever life gives you, you have to give it back. It's all about good karma. It's about treating people with love and respect.
That's true.
And, that's to me what it's all about. The universe keeps an eye on everything. And bad stuff does come back around to those who treat people bad. It may take a while, but eventually karma does come around.
And like you said, I mean, a lot of this we're not getting paid for, but it's about putting yourself out there, you know, and it's about loving what you're doing, you know, to do what you're doing, you know. I mean, you may wish for $1 million but never get it, you know, but I think it's do it like you said, doing the right things that make you feel like a million. You make you feel better about yourself, you know.
Absolutely. And, I'd rather go to sleep with a clear conscience than sit here and realize I did bad things to people.
Oh sure.
And, when people read the book, they're going to realize that I'm human. I'm no angel, okay? I will admit that. I am no angel. I've never killed anybody. I came very close. To killing my first husband.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it because in my own mind and in my own heart, I knew that wasn't me. And it would have saved the world a lot of grief. He wouldn't have put, this man has, the last I heard, 15, 16, 17 kids. I have no idea. We've lost track.
Really?
And he's left a lot of damage in the wake of everything. My daughter was not the only person affected. A lot of people were affected throughout the time with his ex-wives and all of his children. There's just so much destruction that one person can cause. And I could have put a stop to that by taking him out of the world and poisoning him, but I couldn't do it. It wasn't in my genetic makeup. It wasn't me. I was able to stop that. And, it's like the Harry Potter theory. Voldemort was already in him, and it was his choice whether he was good or bad, and he chose to be good versus bad. We all have that ability to be good versus bad.
Oh yeah.
And, you can be bad at some things and have fun, but if that means hurting other people and leaving a wake of destruction, that's not good.
No.
And I want to have a clear conscience. And throughout my life, I'm the person known as the brick wall. I tell it like it is. I have tact. I can be very tactful, but there's times where it's just people call me because I say it like it is.
Right.
And I expect them to hold me in the same regard. If I'm doing something, check me. That's the way it has to be because I don't want to hurt anybody. I never set out to deliberately hurt anyone.
Right.
But like I said, I'm no angel. I've done things in my life that other people have talked me into, and I've learned to not do that anymore. I don't take advice unless I know it's good advice. So, you do what you have to do to survive in this world.
Oh yeah, very, 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 very true. But again, you're responsible for your own happiness. And nobody else can define that for you. And for somebody to take that away from you, I mean, Uh, I mean that. Uh, Man, I mean, how long were you together with this guy?
Well, I originally met him when I was 13 years old, and that's
Okay,
how the book starts. I had an affinity for the CB radio when I was a kid. Go figure. I ended up back in radio anyway.
right,
But he actually tracked me down. He tracked my signal down on the CB and showed up on my doorstep one morning.
really,
I'm like everybody else. You go through these changes. When I was like between 10 and 12, I became the fatty four eyes. I was teased. I went through my ugly duckling stage.
oh sure,
So then I cried to mom, I need to lose weight and look better. So I did.
yeah,
I went on a diet, grew tall. Apparently, I must have been pretty at that point because it drew him in. And, being 13, I was very vulnerable to a lot
right,
of things because I had just had a guy tell me that I was an ugly fatty four eyes, and it broke my heart when I was 12. So I changed that.
yeah,
And then I drew this attention from this 18-year-old guy all of a sudden. And, it was nice. I felt, wow, cool. Some guy likes me. He's paying attention. He's telling me I'm pretty. So I was stupid. I was dumb and naive. And that's the
right,
whole thing with this. We have to educate our children. We have to be there for our children. And it's even more so now because I was 13. My dad did not stand up and protect me against this guy. My dad actually invited him into our world.
really,
He actually moved in our house when I was 16. So, the whole idea that my dad should have been my protector didn't really exist in this. And and I can't blame him 100%. I talk about this in the book a lot. Um, there's things that I am responsible for that I have to stand up and say, yeah, I did invite him back into my life, and I did allow him to do things to me. But I was a naive kid. I wasn't educated in the fact that telling me what I could wear, telling me that I could not walk to school by myself anymore, telling me that I could not hang around my friends by myself.
yeah,
I didn't realize what all that was when I was a teenager. I just thought that, hey, this guy liked me, so in order for me to keep him in my life, I had to listen to what he said.
yeah.
What the hell's wrong with me at that age to be thinking that? I didn't have the right kind of support system
Or
because
or
my
or or
dad.
or if he didn't do what he was gonna what you said, if he didn't do what he told you to do, what was gonna happen?
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen when you're that young.
Right,
And the way that you're raised in your own house, watching the way that my dad interacted with my mom didn't get to do anything. She didn't know how to drive. He never let her drive. Uh, Anytime she worked outside of the home as a nanny, she had to hand over her paycheck to him. He basically controlled everything. And he came into this with issues from his prior marriage,
uh huh,
where he said his wife controlled everything. So he turned the tables and did that to my mom.
wow,
And that allowed me to grow up under the guise that a woman does everything her husband says. Very old world caveman type thinking. I dragged you here, you
yeah,
listen to me, and you don't get to have a mind of your own. So I grew up with that mentality, and I allowed this man to do this to me. We were together from the age off and on several times. It started at 13 until I was 20. We officially were divorced when I was 20.
okay,
He walked out on me a couple of weeks prior to Christmas in 1987, I believe it was.
okay,
And I think it was 87. I have to, yeah, something like that. But it was only because I struck back. He never drew blood until one day.
right,
He threw me back against the bar counter, and a pair of scissors went through my ear, and
wow,
I felt something hot and stinging, and I saw my own blood for the first time, and I
really,
lost it. I grabbed him by the back of the hair, threw him up against the wall, and mind you, I lived every day with this man telling me, you say anything to anyone, I'm going to kill Jeff, which is
yeah,
my son, make you watch, and then I'll kill you. Every day I lived with that. And when I snapped that day, I smashed his head up against the wall underneath the gun rack where the two rifles were at least a half a dozen times and just kept cussing at him and telling him how you like it. And, the next day he walked out on me. And the craziest thing about it, Dan, is when they walk out on you, you're freaking out. You're upset at yourself. You're crying. You're freaking out. Oh my God, what am I going to do without him here?
Yeah.
So you're still stuck in the victim mentality because you believe you did something wrong that caused them to leave. Well, let me tell you something. That was the best damn thing that ever happened to me.
Oh,
with
sure.
him drawing my blood. And that's the problem nowadays. I still see the domestic violence and the verbal abuse going on. I've met people who are in their 40s that are dealing with verbal abuse.
Yeah.
Really?
I see a lot of it too.
It's got to stop.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to stop. It's got to stop with one person at a time. And that is my goal right now with this book, is to get it in as many hands as possible to help people, because it shows them that, hey, you're not alone. There's more than you can think of out here. There's so many people in this world that are going through so many different aspects of this type of thing.
Right.
You know, and I believe it starts when we're young, because it started with me when I was 13. And here I am 48. And now I'm able to really break it down and speak about it on a level where I could never do that before. And I believe the universe puts us in situations for a reason. I believe I was drawn to radio because not only is that a passion, but it allows me to be in a very good position to be communicative between people.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem talking about things. I mean, my God, my whole life is in a book now. If I ever had a skeleton in my closet, I sure don't now.
Right.
So my goal with this is just to help, you know, and that's the thing. I don't mind talking to people. I will drive 2 hours just to go give someone a book, or to sit down with them and listen to them for a couple of hours and see if I can help put them in a different place.
Yeah.
Because that's all we need. We need to reach out to people. When you're walking in someplace and somebody's in a really bad mood, tell them something about them. You know, like, you're beautiful. I love your hair. You know, make them smile. There's enough
that really makes a difference.
We're all going through.
Yeah, it makes a difference. And telling your story, you like to say, problem shared is problem cut in half. You know, I mean, you think like you suffer from terminal uniqueness, like nobody else is going through. Like you're the only one going through this, but it's nice to know you're not. You know, but by doing this, you're letting it go, and not only that, but you're sharing your story with other probably other women that are probably going through the same thing that you went through. You know, probably going through the same thing now.
The thing about it is, Dan, it's not just women that are going through this. My half brother went through this years ago when he was married to an Italian woman.
Right.
She used to beat him up. She used to verbally abuse him. She took their kid and went and hid out.
Wow.
So she was very destructive. This isn't just a male-generated physical thing towards women. It is both directions. And a lot of this, you have to break it down, and you have to look at where it comes from. It could be something that happened to them in their childhood, but it doesn't excuse what they're doing as an adult. They need to recognize what they're doing, and they need to get help. And if they don't get help, they're going to keep repeating the same cycle, and it's going to be a miserable life for everybody.
Oh yeah.
And that's the one thing that I want to get across with the book. It's just not about domestic violence and verbal abuse. It is pertaining to a lot of other issues. I talk about the bullying I endured when I worked at the TV station by my boss. I talk about the death. My late husband died of cancer. There was a lot of things that were leading up to that. I had 41 deaths in my life from the age of 23 to 34 that were preparing me to be strong enough to be the one to give my husband permission to die.
Right.
I mean, there's a multitude of experiences in this book that, I mean, like I said, this took on a whole different level of stuff for me. It wasn't just about clearing the air with my daughter. It started encompassing everything in my life. Because once you start writing, at least with me, I can't stop. Things just pour out of me, and I don't. It's like I said, it's the playback on the tape recorder. For some reason, it just came out, and everything was there. And the way that I write the book, sometimes I go flashback. I start a chapter in the present and then I go to the flashbacks. But that's how I am able to write. And, that to me is my greatest gift, is the fact that I'm capable of putting something down on paper that people can read and understand. And I'm still taken aback that I have the ability to do that, because when I read this book, and my God, I've read it so many times, when you go through the editing process, you don't ever want to read it again when you're done. But I look at this thing and I go, I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I lived through this. This was my life. I was there. And I read it and I'm like, geez, what's wrong with me?
Okay.
How could I have gone through all this stuff? And this is only a mere portion of what I've gone through. And I'm like, wow, and I'm still amazed when I look at where I've been and what I've done, but I'm still here. It didn't kill me. It didn't take me down.
Right.
There is something to be said about that. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Sure.
And, I'm human. I cry. I hurt. I feel. And I would rather be in that position than to shut myself off, be a cold-hearted person, and never know what it is to experience anything.
Right.
And that's what we have to get that across to people, that I don't care if you're male or female. The way I raised my son, it's okay to cry. It doesn't make you a wussy. When I look at a guy, if I see tears in his eyes, that's a man I'm going to say I'm proud of.
Yeah.
Because if you're holding stuff back and you're a tough ass and you say, I can't cry, I'm going to look at you and say, no, you're an idiot. Because you're not able to feel, and you're missing out on some of the greatest things of life. No matter how much we hurt, knowing that we can still feel is the greatest gift that we have as a human being.
Oh, sure. I think so. I definitely think so. Because my father separated from my mom. I was mostly raised by my mom, and I know it wasn't easy for her, So
right.
I definitely understand that.
It's never easy to be a single parent, because
No.
I see a lot of guys that are in that position too. But the thing is, that's a motivator. And that's a lot of the problems I see nowadays. The me generation, as I like to call it, they get so caught up in everything that's miserable about their life. But hey, you're responsible for another human being.
That's true.
Forget about yourself for a little while. Set yourself aside. Get out of your own way and realize you're raising an adult for the future there. And you need to concentrate on the most important thing, which is giving that child the best of what you can offer. And that doesn't mean go buy them an iPad or an iPhone.
No.
That means being there in the present, getting them the right advice, telling them, hey, I can be your friend to a certain level, but never forget that I'm your parent. You will respect me. And that is the number one thing that's missing in this world today. There's no respect. There's no respect with these kids a lot of the time. And I'm just like, wow, really? You're going to raise that kind of child?
Yeah.
What are our leaders of tomorrow going to be like if that's how you're raising your child? I can't say anything because it's not my place.
Right.
But I can feel it, and I can express it in my own mind and my own opinion. I just see this world falling apart because everyone is so wrapped up in their own selfishness. They don't think about, oh my God, what are we leaving behind? When I die and these kids are grown up, what kind of life are they going to have? They're going to be miserable because it's going to be all about what they want, not about what needs to be done, but more about want. And I hate to see that mentality, and it just drives me crazy because a lot of people don't know what it really means to work your rear end off. I mean, you and I are part of that generation where you work for what you get. You don't put your hand out and ask for it. It's mine. Give it to me.
Right.
That's not a right you have. A right you have is to get up off your ass and go to work and earn your way in this world, and that's what we're supposed to do.
That's what. Yeah, you're right. That's what we're supposed to do. Not sit home and collect unemployment or whatever, or disability.
Yep.
People are some people are going bankrupt and homeless waiting for disability today. You know.
Yep. And see, I'm in a situation since this book was supposed to be published in March,
Yeah.
and it has not been an easy road for me.
Right.
In the middle of March, I found out that my current ex-husband was doing some illegal activity. There was a lot of lying involved. There's been a lot of lying in our 11-year relationship from the very beginning that I was not aware of.
Wow.
I had to stop my life, shut down a very successful company that I worked my rear end off in building up with him.
Mm-hmm.
I walked away from my entire life, and I'm starting over now. And it was more of a struggle because I had to sell a house, shut a business down. I've been unemployed since April. But, you know, I had to move in with family. I changed my whole life again. And here
Right.
I am just turning 48 last month going, well, what am I supposed to do now?
Right.
I gave up a very valuable radio career to me because I could have stayed in radio till I died with the job that I had.
Right.
You know, because that's just the way it is. You sit on your butt, you do your job. You don't have to worry about being physical. I could have stayed there till I died. Like most of my friends that are still working there, they're going to be there forever.
Yeah.
I can't go back to it because I've been out of it since 2006. But I decided to take on a different view of things. Once I finished publishing this, I've got to give myself an entire year to see where this can go.
Right.
If it doesn't transpire into what it needs to be for my family, then I will go back into the corporate world and look for a job. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult because who's going to want to hire, you know, whether you have credentials or not, like in the radio business, you still have to start at the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm not such a big person in this town where I can walk right in and sign $1 million contract. That's not going to happen.
No.
But I have to really have to give of myself at this point to the universe and say, okay, I'm yours to do with as you will. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And I just have to let it take me where it's going to go. And, you know, I'm like the rest of the Americans in this country. I lived on unemployment for the last 6 months. It just ran out. I do have savings from selling my home. There wasn't a huge amount of money, but it's money that's sitting there that will get me through the next 6 months.
Well, that's good.
But now I'm like everyone else. You know, I hate being here and not doing something viable with my time.
Right.
I hate not working. I don't like sitting here and not working. That's not me. I've always been a workaholic because that's just who I am. But, you know, at this point, I have to just be on the path that I am and let it take me where I'm supposed to go.
Okay.
And you know, that's why I tell everybody, hey, I'm human. Don't think I'm some big shot celebrity, because you know what? All through the years working in radio here, people have said that to me. I look at them and say, really? I'm a celebrity? Well, I don't have the bank account to match that.
Yeah.
You're not digging through my trash to find out details for the Inquirer, so I guess I'm not really that big of a celebrity, am I? You know, you can make fun of yourself, because I'm not on the cover of People magazine saying that I got, you know, all these men around me and I'm having affairs and I'm having babies left and right.
No.
You know, I don't look at celebrity that way.
No.
I really don't. If something good comes out of all this, hey, sell my book on eBay for $5 or $1.50 when it's not worth anything. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's just what it is. I'm here to do whatever I'm supposed to be doing, and right now, it's the book. Whatever happens with this is wherever I'm going to let it take me.
Okay. So when do you expect this book to come out? You said March?
Oh no, the book has already been released. I finished it. It's been released. I released it October 2nd.
October 2nd. Okay. And what's the name of the book again?
My Life, Victim No More: The Ugly Truth Exposed, and it is available on Amazon, and it's also in the Kindle version and paperback version on Amazon.
Okay. And what are the links where anybody can look you up?
I have my own production company that, you know, basically I use for the book to be published under. It's Dragonfire Productions LLC.com. And I'm also on Facebook. Robin, last name is C-O-T-E, Cote. You can pretty much find me anywhere on the internet. Google me. I'm sure you can get a hold of me. My email is Robin at dragonfireproductionsllc.com. Very simple. I'm everywhere. You can't hide. I'm not a ghost. I'm everywhere. If you just look me up on the internet, you'll find one place or another to find me.
Okay.
And I tell everybody, I'm not worried about anything. If you need somebody to talk to, or you just need to reach out, if you're in a bad situation, talk to me. I'll see what I can do to put you in touch with the right people. Back when I went through this stuff in the 80s, there was no place for me to go. I didn't know what to do. I was scared. Don't be afraid. Reach out. If you're getting bullied, oh my God, do something about it.
Right.
Back in the days when we were bullied, we went out in the schoolyard and duked it out. Done, over with. You can't even do that anymore.
No.
You got to reach out to people. And, these poor kids that are committing suicide because of being bullied, oh, please don't do that. You're going to leave a wake of destruction. There's so many people that suffer because of suicide. I've been there. I've had several people I know in my life that have committed suicide, and it's horrible what it does to the people left behind. You're loved. There are people that love you. Don't think that you're not loved.
That's true.
Because just because there's jerks in the world, please, don't think that. Those people are just selfish. They're terrible people. They have their own issues to deal with, and they put it all on other people. And that's horrible. If you're being picked on and bullied, don't let that jerk put his crap on you.
No.
Contact somebody. Talk to people. That's what it's all about. Reach out. There's people here that do care. There's no one that should be beat up by any verbal abuse, or if you've been, through a lot of death and you don't know how to deal with it, talk to me.
Yeah.
God, I've been through all this experience for a reason. Talk to me. I'll talk to you. That's where I'm at. I'll talk to anybody. I'll help in any way I can. If you just need a friend to talk to, email me. I'll be your buddy. I'll be your pen pal.
That's cool. You have any closing comments before we let you go?
Wow, you're asking the person that just chopped your head off that question. That's crazy.
You want to give a shout out?
You
want to give a shout out or hello to anybody?
My big thing, Dan, is just being there, and that's the consistency. The consistent thing I want everybody to know. I'm not sitting here telling people that I'll be there for you if I'm not. That's not true. I've driven hundreds of miles just to go spend a day with somebody and help them through their issues, because that's what we're supposed to do.
Sure.
I'm unemployed for a reason. I could jump in my car and go talk to somebody for a few hours, and I do that quite often now because there was no one there for me back then, and I don't like seeing people go through these things. There's just too many issues in this world today. Some guy gets pissed off because somebody they serve pork at a Christmas party, so he comes back and kills everybody. Really? Come on, seriously.
Yeah.
You need help. You need to talk to somebody. Please, just talk to somebody. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
If you've got issues that you need help with, talk to somebody. Don't let it fester inside of you and make yourself miserable to where you do bad things to not only yourself but other people. Just reach out. And if it's me you want to talk to, I'm here. I don't care what you have to say, good, bad, or indifferent. None of us are angels. We've all done crap in our life. Just please do what you can to reach out and ask for help. There is help out there.
Yes,
and I'm willing to step up and do what I have to do to help others. So, that's my final thought. I'm putting myself out there to help as many people as I can. So don't be afraid to communicate. Please, don't be afraid to communicate.
Okay. Well, Robin, I'd like to thank you for being on with me this afternoon, and I was really looking forward to talking to you. I really was, and much success with your book, and you always have my love, strength, and support with everything you do, and I hope we keep in touch. And anything else that comes up, we'd be grateful to have you on again. So, again, thank you for
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, Dan, and I'm sorry I ran the mouth, but you know, as
Oh, that's
radio
okay.
people, we don't know when to shut up.
That's okay. All right, Robin, you take care. You have a great Saturday. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Dan. You have a great
Oh,
weekend.
you too. Bye bye. God bless.
Bye bye.
All right, that was Robin Cote, author, on-air personality, producer, and writer. Hope you enjoyed that interview. This is Dan Lupinski on the Dan Lupinski radio program. If you're interested in producing your own internet radio podcast show, go to the karaokezone.com. That's where we're broadcasting from the south side of Chicago, the coolest place to do your internet radio podcast shows ever. So just go to karaokezone.com and look for Rich Munich. Say hi, Rich.
Hi, Rich.
And Rich will help you get going and producing your own show. And he does a good job, too. He really does.
Oh, yeah, I try.
And do me a favor, when you see down below the video there where it says subscribe, give that subscribe button a little loving, too. So thank you very much. So
That's it?
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for joining me this afternoon. But remember this: no act of kindness, no matter how small, is never wasted. Never wasted. So you have a great Saturday. Have a great weekend. Be good to yourself. Let at least one person know you love them, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.